Alright, you are back with David Dean. I just got done finishing up the final mission in Fortnite, Twine Peaks, Storm Shield Defense number 10. Spaced out for a second there. And I had some people asking what characters I was running, what heroes, what weapons I was using, traps, and how I did it all. So I was just going to do a quick walkthrough of all that fun. First for heroes, as I said in the preview video I got really lucky, and my only mythic hero I have is the constructor. And for what I was trying to do, he was perfect for it. The main two reasons on him that I really like, because Plasma Pulse is nice, but it really doesn't help. But the base, it goes 7 segments, which is the largest a base can extend out. And the other key thing that was really important to me is the electric floors. It doesn't really give a exact percentage or damage, it does, but it does do damage every 2 seconds. And when you watch my videos, I say over and over again, I am not trying to do quick kills with my trap tunnels. It is mainly to slow them down and just slowly beat them to death. And this works perfect with that. So I'm using floor spikes to slow down the enemies. I'm using launchers to constantly knock them back, so they keep having to walk over to the same areas again and again. So the more I can extend out my base, in this case 7 segments radius, and then to have the electric floors, those two combined do massive amounts of damage. And just looking through, I mean, there's other little things that help, like increasing the health of the buildings. But if you looked at my videos, I have everybody walking through straight up to the amplifier. They are hardly ever beating on metal, so that really isn't a big factor. So those are the 2 key things I looked at there. For support, the duration of the Storm Shield events are so much longer later in the game, and you simply cannot do them without having the standard trap durability extended. So this is a huge bonus, 25%. So I'm using the Mechanist Harper in this. The only thing is this hero came out during the Horde Bash. It was a limited time event, and she's part of the Scavenger Heroes set. So it's not available day to day. But if you watch the special events, they're going to bring her back in another form. A lot of times they just take a hero and change the gender on it and put it out for a special event. So keep a close eye, even though this wasn't one that I wanted to use very much at lower levels. At higher levels, it's kind of a must-have. And then for the final one, Power Base Kyle. If I didn't have the mythic, Kyle would be who I'd be using as my main hero. And the main thing about him is that the base regeneration 5%. It's not a huge factor, it's a nice factor. The fact is, this second support hero, or for the tactical bonus, there's really hardly anything that is good to help. Looking through all my heroes here, that helps ninja stars, grenades, nothing. Same module perk, and all these save ammo. This one allows your llama on an outlander to produce ammo. That is for doing melee attacks, and there's just nothing really to help. Actually, there isn't a single one here that really would help me in any way, except for, I'm trying to find it and I'm not seeing it. I'm not going to waste your time. I may have got rid of it. There is one hero that allows you to move faster on player built floors, and that isn't going to help you as much as the regeneration. So that is the reason I have in there. And I'll talk about the defenders here in a little bit. So let's hop over to the armory. That was the heroes I'm using. Let's go ahead and hop over. For weapons, I really wasn't using anything. As you saw, I wasn't shooting. All I was doing is RPGs. I have one 5-star weapon. I got this late in the game, probably only about maybe a month ago, but it is by far my best weapon. Unfortunately, the shooting style of it, it has a real slow reload, and I really don't enjoy using it as a character, but it is great for my heroes to use on the Storm Shield defenses. You got 30 crit damage, 2 damage bonuses for 25 bonus, and then a 28 crit chance bonus. And this is the #1 thing you really want on any perk, on any weapon you have, is energy damage regardless of the type, and then for it to cause affliction, because that just keeps the damage going and does just massive more damage. Plus now a lot of people are getting perks that do additional damage to creatures that have affliction on them. So this is by far my best weapon, and it is only sniper rifle I have ever leveled up. Looking through here, you can see there's I got a few sniper rifles down here, but I've never put a single point to leveling them up. I got this one. So the one thing I was worried about with the last run was that it's much weaker against Fire Husk, and I was worried that we'd have Fire Smashers coming through, and fortunately we didn't have that. We had Nature, which it does standard energy damage against. Going to RPG, you can go a few different ways on these. This one is the best one out there. It was another one that was a special event thing. And the big thing about this is the impact. I have other ones. The Halloween one, which is fire, does better than average damage. I have the Trash Cannon, which does a lot of damage but also breaks down pretty fast. They have the exact same perks on them. And but this one, the big thing about it is the knockback, the impact. And with smashers, that's the #1 thing I'm worried about. I want to get the smasher the hell away from me, and in certain circumstances you can aim the RPG at their feet and try to knock them off a cliff, launch them back into the lava on the Storm Shield defenses. So when I'm using an RPG, the #1 thing is not damage, it is the impact, and that is why I chose to level up that one. Getting back over here, I do have this Death Ray Assault Rifle, which was my very first legendary weapon, and that's why I leveled it up, but I hardly ever use it because I really do, when I'm using any weapon, like impact. And even when it's leveled up at 106, the impact's just a joke. And on certain creatures, like the Laserface Mist Monsters, when you're shooting them, if you do enough impact, it stops them from attacking you. And also just being able to knock creatures back gives you a little bit more room to stay alive. So I leveled it up, but don't use it that much. I finally got a Outlander I liked, and it specialized in pistols, so Beetlejuice. So I leveled this thing up because it had absolutely great perks. Crit chance, crit damage, damage. So the stats, 26% chance crit and 110 damage. Great perks on it. But I hate the way it fires. It doesn't fire like a standard gun with the bullet just shooting straight out with very little drop on it. This more shoots like a lob. And trying to target it, it can be very difficult. So even though I leveled it up, I really don't use it. Even on my Beetle Jest, who specializes in pistols, I have her using another pistol, this one right here. And if I have a group of mobs really on me up close, I actually just switch to a double barrel shotgun to get rid of all the little pesky things. This assault rifle I switched out on my Rifleman Defender when I saw we had nature husks coming in. Fire does better against nature. And once again, this weapon has the cause affliction with the energy. And that just makes a huge difference. Once again, this is a special event. And when they come out with the special event ones, those really seem to be the top weapons. They seem to always have crit damage, crit chance perks. So good to have. I do use this occasionally on my guy. For my Outlander, I always use this Riptide. It is absolutely great. And once again, I intentionally, because I got a ton of weapons, I looked to make sure I had one weapon of each energy type with the cause affliction on it. And it just makes a huge difference. So I got this one, my main weapon on my Outlander. I got the snowball launcher. I thought it would be great because it has a slowing effect. And as you've heard me say repeatedly, I like slowing things down. And it has the same lobber type attack as the Freedom's Herald. So I really don't like the targeting mechanism that much on it, and very rarely ever use it. I do have a nice laser pistol, and I did switch that out on my pistol defenders. And great damage. The only thing is, originally I was using the Judge over here, but this one on the range, it is 3,500, where the Judge is 3,800. So even though this would be doing a lot more damage, I chose to use the Judge just because it gave me more distance. And as you saw, my defenders were quite a ways away from the mobs. This assault rifle, if you can get this assault rifle, it is great, the Deathstalker. I'm fortunate that I got it with energy bonus, no affliction on it. But I do have water type and then double crit chance. So almost half the time it's going to be doing crit damage. And the thing that makes this so great, it's assault rifle with a range of 5,000, which is the same range as my sniper rifle. So if you are a soldier with assault rifle perks on your hero, you can use this and you'd be shooting at the same range as a sniper. So I love this rifle. This is one of the main ones I run around with. When I first started the game, I got the Founder set. This shotgun is actually my favorite to run around with. I like the way it fires, and I got good stats on it, and it's just pure energy. Where the other ones, fire, water, and nature, they all have one type that they do double damage against. Their own type they do normal, and then they have one type that they do less damage on. And I don't want to be switching back and forth while I'm running around, so I just always use one that has pure energy. And this one just works great, and it actually has much longer range, 3,000 for a shotgun, which is extremely good. Most people all love the Hydra. It was another special event one, kind of the same thing. It's energy. This one reloads, just if you use 2 shots, it reloads those too. This one uses a clip, So if you use 2 or 3 shots and hit reload, it takes just as long as if you had reload the whole case. So that can be a little bit slower on cases like that. The Judge I already mentioned. It has no energy perk, which I dislike, but it is great for a little bit more range and also for impact. It has an impact of 2,500, which is more than this. It's an assault rifle, but it's shooting shotgun shells, and it's almost as good as this shotgun. So since I'm a big fan of impact, I do like the Judge. And the other one weapon that I always have slotted is this Old Smoky. There is the Thunderbolt, which is kind of the same thing, but this one came out during a special event. It doesn't have energy, but it really doesn't need it. Usually I use this when you get like about 8 to 10 little gremlin husks coming at you. This thing will just kill all of them in one shot. And so, since it handles what I use it for, I'm really not that concerned about the perks. I leveled this one out because this one has the best perks of any. Crit chance, crit damage, and damage. For a total of 54 chance of crit and 125. But I really don't like the way it fires. It would be another one for shooting things very up close. But once again, it does have a decent impact. But I just don't like the way it fires and reload as much as the Old Smoky. And then all these others are just ones I've gotten and never bothered to level up. I have never leveled up any melee weapons because I just don't use them, and I use the hell out of the rifles. Alright, my favorite is traps. And at the beginning I just put everything I had into traps. I've leveled up 5 of them to 5-star, which kind of hurt me because I had saved up a bunch of 5-star trap materials, so I thought I was good. And then I went through them all, and trying to get more of those materials was a very slow, painstaking process. So I probably leveled them up sooner than I should have. And that's like the tire trap. Most people wonder why I'd waste experience on it, but I had a ton of these mechanical parts and a ton of these twine, so I figured why not. These are great for slants. If you have mobs coming up, those 45-degree natural slants, these will definitely slow them around, knock them around, and it's worthwhile doing there. The other thing they were great for, and the main reason I leveled them up, was because, like in Twine Peaks, you have the lava balls falling from the sky. You also have propane guys. These you can put 3 tiles up, and they are not affected by anything going on at ground level. So propane tanks explode, they don't touch these at 3 level high. The lava balls coming in, they don't touch these at 3 levels high. So they're not doing much damage, but they're extremely reliable. Ceiling zapper, I love this for putting up on the roofs. And I like using them further down in the tunnel, because at the beginning of the tunnel, that will kill all the lesser and weaker husks. But the husky husk and the propane and smashers that get through a little bit further. When it comes to damage, this is doing over 2,000, where the tires are doing 300. And where's another? Let's see. This one, the gas trap, is only doing 200, even though it's damage over time. So you end up putting ceiling zappers at places you want to kill the more durable husk. Freeze traps, I absolutely loved freeze traps until I got to the higher level storm shield defenses, and then they just, even this one with 2 perks for max durability, they did not have the duration needed to take out what I needed to. Also, in the tunnels in the higher level Twine peaks, I would have so many mobs coming in, and if the freeze trap went off, it caused a giant clog because the other mobs couldn't get around them because they were frozen, stuck in place. So then they just start beating down the walls, or if they were propane, they would just throw their tanks and blow up the whole tunnel. So when I'm soloing regular missions or playing on a team, freeze traps are my absolute favorite. Doing the upper level storm shield defenses, I ended up taking them all out except at the very end of the trap tunnels. Which moves to my favorite is the wall launcher. This is great for slowing them down, moving them around. If you want your husks to travel a different path than they want to, the wall launchers will move them for you. I originally had this one, and then just maybe a month or two ago, I got the second one when they started putting impact and knockback perks on them. So this one is much more powerful. I showed it in one other video. It has a 16,800 impact, where this one at 4 stars has 12,200. So when I'm playing regular missions, these are the ones I am using. For durability, it has a base of 26. This one has a base of 30. So for only storm shield defenses that I know are going to go a long time, I was using the 106s because I was more worried about durability than impact. But in regular missions, I'm definitely using the 130s. These, I loved them when I first started playing back in Stonewood, and then I didn't use them at all for Canny Valley or Plankerton, and then when I got back up into Twine Peaks, these things were great because they were one of the few things, the only floor traps that would last the entire run. And as I was saying before, I love slowing down enemies. I've never heard what the exact percentage of slow it does. And this has some really good perks as far as trap damage, crit chance, and everything else. But it really does so little damage. I really don't care that much about that. What I care about is the slow effect and that it lasts. I've heard a lot of argument on the ceiling gas traps because when they go off, they do a AoE cloud that does affliction damage. That's great. And I used to put a series of gas traps on the ceilings. But then the argument became, well, if a mob walks in, gets hit with affliction, and then walks into another one, does that affliction get reset? Does that affliction cancel out the first one? Or does that affliction just not take effect until the first one is entirely done? I don't know. So I've never seen it properly tested. I know Sly Gumby does videos like that. I haven't seen him do that one yet. So I still use gas traps quite a bit, but I try to break them up by sliding in a ceiling zapper between them. Floor launcher, got a really good one. I had another one that I had leveled up to 4-star, but when the game first come out, you would get floor launchers with crit damage, increased damage, and crit chance, but it doesn't do any damage, so all those perks were worthless. They finally updated it and started giving launchers perks they could actually use, and so this one I replaced out with the other one, and fortunately it had a lot of durability on it as well. Healing pad, actually I haven't used them too much until that last run. Not much to say on that. Spike traps, this is actually a great spike trap with 59 chance of doing a crit hit, and looks like doing double damage. But let's see, what's the duration? 39. But I usually, if I'm running with people and doing regular missions, they're great. And I never use the floor spikes on regular missions. But on the storm shield defenses, I stopped using the retractable spikes, and use the wooden spikes. And wall darts, once again, got some good stats on them. Over 50% chance for crit. But they don't do as much damage as the dynamos, but they do damage over 3 tiles. So if I got any area that's even 2 tiles long, I'll use the wall darts. Also, the wall darts, as you've seen in my other videos, for some reason they reset on the Storm Shield defenses after you run it. So if you run this down to 1 charge left and complete the mission, come out and come back, it will totally reset to its original status. The only traps I know that do that is the wall darts and the wooden floor spikes. So by putting those 2 traps down as much as possible, you don't have to keep replacing them every time you do a run on your Storm Shield defense. And those are the only 2 I know that do that. Dynamos, I love these things. They do some serious damage, almost 900. Durability is pretty high at 45. And they actually do a little enough impact that they can knock people around, or knock Husk around, and slow them down, which is huge for me. Anything that slows them down. And like I said, I got durability. The crit chance is really high. Yep. And then we already went through this one. I used to use the hell out of the ceiling electric field. It has a radius, so like consider that a tile. Anything that comes within the 1 tile radius of it will be getting hit. There was just not that many places in how I built my tunnels that would be useful, and it did so much less damage, 205, than the ceiling zapper. I just decided not to even bother with it in Twine Peaks. And those are my traps. I do have wall lights down here. Really didn't see any point in leveling them up, so didn't bother with that. But that is the traps I'm using in there. Next big thing is survivors. Actually, I'll go out and hit my squads. I actually changed around quite a bit for this one. Mainly, yeah, resistance. I don't have a good leader. So I went in here, and even though I have higher level, like these I didn't even level up at all, they have trap durability. And each set of trap durability gives me a plus 8%. So, and that is another thing, because if you go through here, working on your math, you got 1 trap of durability here, 8. You got trap durability here, so that's, or you got actually 3 of them. So that gives you 24. 24 plus 8 is 32. Jump there. Got another trap durability here, so that's 40. Go here, it's another one, so that's 48. Wish I would stop jumping around. Got another one, 56. Got another one for 56, 64. Is that all? 64. Got another one here, so another 8, so 72. But when you go back here, it says I got a total of 48. That had me worried because I was actually lowering down my character a level just to get more trap durability. But I went and removed all of them, went into the game, checked my traps, see what they had. Then I came back and I added on 1 trap durability pair, and then I go back in the game to see if it had a impact, and it did. So what you add up here is more correct than the number you see here. Don't know why that's screwed up. I'll let Epic work on that. But for in here, I've actually got kind of lucky. I got a mythic leaders, I think in 5. Yeah, 5 of the categories. and been leveling them up like crazy. But like right here, get back into the game. That had 8. This one has 90, but I wanted the trap durability. So no, I'm going to go back and change all these back out to what I had before. And definitely be in better shape, but I'll do that later. But for me, trap durability was more important than being one level higher as a character. Some people may argue that, but that's what I was doing. For my defenders, there's 2 sets of defenders. This set of defenders you can only use during storm shield defenses. And you get them by unlocking in your skills. Unfortunately, like, let's go to this rifleman who I'd really like to get. It is coming soon, so you cannot get that one. And this one, cannot get it. It's coming soon. So the only ones you can get for Twine Peaks is the sniper, shotgun, and gunslinger. You saw I didn't even bother using the shotgun just because I have my defender set too far back for him to really be that useful. And then the other 3 I used, I have right here. And basically, when looking for defenders, I just went whatever legendaries I had at the time. And I didn't even have a legendary for pistol, so I used this guy who does have great stats. And I'll hop over to defenders. Let's see, what's this? Yeah, bruiser. Didn't want to use it, and I really don't have one to use. For stats, what I really care about is damage. So increased fire rate, that is great. Regen on shield, don't care. Regen on shield, don't care. Magazine size, don't care. Shield, don't care. So this guy has 1 perk I actually care about. Let's see. I just got this one, and I would have leveled her up and replaced the pistol guy if I had time. But still kind of low on the experience points. And she doesn't have that great of perks. Let's see what else. We got any other... I got another shotgun, which didn't use the first one, so didn't need the second one. I did get a new sniper guy, which would have been great because he had crit damage and more crit damage. But once again, just didn't have time. And plus, I didn't want to have 3 snipers when I only had 1 sniper rifle, type of sniper rifle they could use. Because once again, if they came in with fire husk, they wouldn't have been very effective. Alright, we've gone through the heroes, the guns, the survivors, and defenders. And I think that's pretty well it. Just wanted to give you a look at what I had. And hopefully we'll be doing some more videos here. Thank you.